Morning. We'll start in a few minutes. Mexico retail sales year over year dipped from previous 4.3% to 2% in April.
Mexico retail sales, MOM, declined to 1% in April from previous 0.5%.
Yen slides on oil supply jitters after U.S. attack on Iran.
Crypto today. Bitcoin, Ethereum, XRP flash recovery signals after roller coaster weekend.
Crude oil remains range-bound despite heightened tensions following US strikes.
Pound a mid-performer versus its G10, Scotiabank. Euro soft, a mid-performer, Scotiabank.
Pound sterling declines against US dollar as greenback gains of US-Iran tensions. Forex Live European FX News Wrap. Dollar up. Markets weigh Iran-Israel developments.
Canadian dollar strays further from fair value, Scotiabank.
Gold pulls back as market digests U.S. strikes on Iran. Strait of Hormuz risks linger.
Mexico retail sales year over year dipped from previous 4.3% to 2% in April.
Mexico retail sales, MOM, declined to 1% in April from previous 0.5%.
Yen slides on oil supply jitters after U.S. attack on Iran.
Crypto today. Bitcoin, Ethereum, XRP flash recovery signals after roller coaster weekend.
Crude oil remains range-bound despite heightened tensions following US strikes.
Pound a mid-performer versus its G10, Scotiabank. Euro soft, a mid-performer, Scotiabank.
Pound sterling declines against US dollar as greenback gains of US-Iran tensions. Forex Live European FX News Wrap. Dollar up. Markets weigh Iran-Israel developments.
All right, all right, all right. Excuse me. How you doing, huh? All right, let's get going. Let's go.
US dollar. Safe haven sentiment is pulling the strings. Rabobank. The US dollar is higher as the markets react to the US entering the Iran-Israeli conflict. Tankers U-turn, zigzag, pause around Strait of Hormuz.
Oil rises in choppy session as investors weigh up U.S. strikes on Iran. Good morning. Let me remind you that trading is risky, not appropriate for everyone. Your past performance, good or bad, is not necessarily indicative of future results. Please stay small, stay humble, focus on the long term. Never risk money you cannot afford to lose. All right. Yeah. 1 hour, 23 minutes to U.S. PMI. Some of the other PMIs are already starting to roll out. Most PMIs are pretty disappointing. Contractionary. So we'll see how the U.S. is doing. Let's go ahead and take a look at the sentiment. Some of the biggest movers here, they're stocks. They're not even currencies. And there's lots of positiveness. Isn't that interesting? Even though we're worried about geopolitical risk, well, the articles are still good. We're worried about seasonality, but the articles are still good. Okay. Kiwi dollar, USD Swiss franc, these things are actually quite neutral. So according to what the media is writing about, currently there's nothing Forex related. Isn't that amazing? Isolate the currencies, and the market is neutral. What a neat gauge, huh? So having read, let's say, at least 100 articles this week, the media is neutral. Just like that. You just read 100 articles. Probably more, actually, but what does our week look like? German IFO, CPI out of Canada. And then we jump all the way out to Thursday. I think Thursday we also have GDP at the exact same time. And then Friday, yeah. Yeah, just like that. So pretty mild week as far as news events that provide both volatility and a reliable, repeatable pattern. Let's go to our fundamental radars. Still, nothing's really changed. We're waiting for the market to open in about an hour. Consolidation down in here. Prices are about the same as they were earlier this morning. Okay. We're rolling over to a little more risk off than before, which makes sense as these markets slowly start moving. So, like the best time of day for trading gold and oil, and many things have just occurred. I mean, I guess I could have showed that over on the sentiment radars. You just go over here, check when you should be trading. You guys pay attention to this? Are you trading at the right time of day? So, like when I say, like, now's a good time to be trading like gold, for example, well, I can prove that quantitatively. Okay. So, right, just in the last really hour or so, you should start trading gold maybe 90 minutes ago, kind of thing. Now, in that 90 minutes, we've had a big up and a big down as we retested resistance. But nonetheless, what you should plan on is trading just as volume and volatility is increasing. Okay, trading in these hours, which may be the hours like when you get home from work, makes no sense at all. Okay. So, anyways, we're early here for oil, but that's okay. Okay, that's okay. So it's just medium now, but there's going to be a big spike in volume. Okay, there's going to be a big spike in volume, and this should be your eyes should be on the prize now, in particular if you're a bull or a bear. So, like, let's say you're a bull. Okay, this is the zone you should be interested in buying, and your stop should be down in here, right below this. And so, what's your plan for the day if you're a bull? I don't know if you're a bull, but let's just say you were. Something like this is likely what you're expecting. But the thing is, you don't want to start trading when you're way up here, because as soon as you pull the trigger, you lose volume. You want to ride the wave, man. You want to ride the wave. Got to get out in front of it. So you should be really focused right now if you're going to trade. Later today, later today, this is going to be updated. It's delayed because of a holiday last week. Okay, so later today, the commitment of traders report will be posted. So keep your eyes open for that. Later this week, we're going to get an update on GDP. Steve, I'm not sure. Government time, the crack at noon, maybe 10, 11, maybe 4. What I'm trying to tell you, Steve, is I don't know. So we're going to get a new look at GDP. Like I said, I think it's on Thursday. One of the things I've been asking you to do throughout the month is spend some time with our seasonality tools and start playing around and planning. Really, I say playing around, but planning. I actually dreamt about seasonality last night. Okay. And so you should be planning out really the second half of the year. Yeah, and that's not a joke. You should be prepared for the July, August, September period. And you should be preparing your portfolio or your trader psychology around what's normal so that you can understand if something abnormal is happening around geopolitics or maybe global trade or fiscal or monetary policy changes or lack of changes. Well, you can't understand abnormality if you don't understand normality. So you should spend a lot of time practicing and thinking and planning. Okay. And so, what are the next few months going to look like? Yeah. And then you can go into your day trading and your intraday trading, right? Like, cool. But you should know generally if you're a bull or a bear, right? Right? Okay. So imagine, yeah. Okay, why is gold falling? Well, this is what is normal. And then we have sort of this, and then this. So there's going to be your normal supply and demand. And also, for those, Kenneth, that had bought gold earlier out of whatever greed or fear put them toward that, they just made a boatload of money. Yeah, Louis says, how do you prepare? Well, like, for example, going through every single asset. And you say, what am I going to do this summer? What assets am I interested in owning? What assets am I not interested in owning? You have 5 and 20 years worth of data. So you plan out normality. Okay? So let's just say you decide July and somewhere between late June, early July, and up into the middle of August, gold performs okay. So you're like, okay, I'm going to be a bull. And then maybe around the end of August, you take profit. Good. So now you plan that out. Okay. That maybe we're in accumulation phase soon. Probably last 6 to 8 weeks. And then you'll take profit and you'll just walk away from the market. This doesn't mean you have to sell. It means you really should stop buying. Okay. Now you go to your charts and you use bullish pivots here. Okay. And then maybe the next month, your bullish pivots, okay, in August are here. And so let's say something like this happens in the market for gold. And it's the 10th of August. And we just hit our August M4R2. What is likely to happen? Please answer this. What is likely to happen? It's August 10th. Well, you're worried about potential rollover in something that was generally bullish for a while. You hit the monthly target early in the month, which sets up a counter trend trade at least back to the August central pivot point, but even potentially beyond. But then when you look at seasonality, it usually falls somewhere in August all the way down to somewhere in September. Potentially taking out all of this stuff that you've done in this period. So you take your money and you're done. And you rotate out of gold into something else. What's something else? I don't know. Why don't you do the research and plan it? Maybe Sky Killer, maybe. I know what my plan is, Sky Killer. Okay? So that's what I mean, Kenneth. So that's just one little discussion on gold. Okay? No, I'm not, Kate. Okay? Okay? Well, depends on what you look at in COT, Steve. So the net, so what the commitment of traders report shows you. Okay? This is how much yen is in the vault. Okay? So you're like, there's a lot of yen in this vault. Okay, fine. But what if you sold some of it? And instead of being 82% long, now you're only 80% long. But you sold 2%. Okay. Well, in this case, you sold 5,319 contracts long and bought 1,235 contracts short. So the differential here is huge, isn't it? 6,500 contracts more short week over week. So you're still heavily long, but 6,500 less long. So now you have capital flow as well as the capital stock. Also, if you want to talk about yens, which countries are most vulnerable to high oil prices? And with the threat with on the supply of oil prices have gone up. Well, you have to think about the winners and the losers. Canada might win from high global oil prices. Well, who is a massive importer of oil? Who would? Japan. So what does that mean? Well, it means Japan has to sell more yen in exchange for oil. So if oil prices are up a lot and really quickly, well, Japan's going to be negatively impacted because they need oil every day. They don't have any oil. Okay. You see? Cause and effect. Looking at pound yen. Okay. 6 days ago, Steve, 6 days ago, you were alerted to a bullish setup on pound yen, and it's still bullish. Now, it hasn't really gone anywhere, but you can see that we're moving into the apex, which means tighter and tighter range. Now, if you want to look at some more, you can add some more. You can add like euro yen, and I'll just add CAD. CAD yen 5 days ago also bullish. So what you could or should be doing with this knowledge is you say, well, okay, CAD yen, pound yen, they're bullish. That's it. These are daily charts. Okay. And you're buying dips at support. So rising wedge is bullish. So that's strength. Rising wedge is bullish. So that's strength, not weakness. Now, is this leg here an opportunity or a threat? That's a threat. Is this an opportunity or a threat? Opportunity. Okay. So when you use this, remember, it's not a signal service, it's pattern recognition. If you don't know how to trade, you're still screwed. So you should learn how to trade. But I think we all agree that's unnecessary. So you have the moving average as dynamic support, or okay, the pattern as support. Those are your only two options. Okay, you would not sell a rising, right? A rising wedge. Okay, this is trending up. So it should be impossible for you to sell this. Now, a lot of people, they get all freaky about all this crap. Oh, but what if? Dude, whatever. Okay. Okay, So you either buy it off of moving average, which is dynamic support, or you buy it off of trending support. And there is nothing else. Like, what else do you want? Right? You buy a dip. Are you going to buy a dip or not? Okay. And that's really the helpfulness of TRADARS, is it's analyzing all the other time frames, and there's nothing there. Nothing trending anyway. So you have this high time frame analysis. You got a heads up 5 days ago in this pattern, right? And it's been up for 3 days since, kicking off the moving average, right? So this just saves you so much time and effort. Bitcoin not doing well. Okay. That, oops. Okay. This is showing weakness with a threat. So let's say you wanted to sell this. Why? Well, that's a bearish pattern. It's a down channel. But wait, I'm a bull. Well, this ain't bullish, so wait your turn. Okay, so what does it say? Well, there's two opportunities. You can wait for a rollover here on a smaller time frame and take a shot, or wait for it to rise up here and then roll over on a smaller time frame and take a shot. Okay, you see? So plan A, plan B. That's it. Now, of course, we know there's like the psych level going on and a bunch of other things. But if you're going to trade pattern recognition, it's bearish right now. That's it. It's it. That's it. It's done. Okay. If you were buying it at $100,000, that's fine. You're just not trading a pattern, or at least not a trending pattern. Maybe you saw a Gartley or something. Maybe. Maybe you bought it simply because of a psych level. Well, that's once again not a pattern. Okay. How many people here would like me to cover, let's say, every day I cover one or two stocks in the stock market? Baidu, Visa, Intel, AMD, Pfizer. We have Apple and Meta. Let me show you what we have. Okay. Adobe, AMD, Alibaba, Amazon, Apple, Baidu, Broadcom, Chevron. Okay, like for example, Chevron and ExxonMobil today could be interesting, as well as the 10-year T-note. Maybe more interesting than Tesla or Nvidia. So we could look at Chevron, ExxonMobil, and the 10-year T-note. Okay, and then we can say we're interested in all patterns. Okay, ZN is 10-year T-note, a lot of movement there. So that's flight to safety. And you can see bullish, 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 which means price up, yield down. Okay. Here's the the big move here on Exxon. Look at that, huh? Holy smokes. 10-year T-note, trying to rise, trying to rise. We have signals all over the place that the 10-year T-note is trying to rise. Okay, that means yields down, and that often pushes the stock market up. Now, we're not seeing anything on Chevron at all. All the action right now is on Exxon. Interesting. XOM experienced a 12.31% bullish move in the last 14 days. I'm surprised that we don't see anything on Chevron, huh? No reversal patterns, no trending patterns. Very interesting. You see how easy this is to do this type of research? Now, we don't provide fundamental data on Exxon, but we provide fundamental data on the oil market. But if you're interested in tracking some of these individual stocks, yeah, TRADARS has a capability. It's just doing pattern recognition. Here's some gold. Messy, messy, messy. See, I turned most of this stuff off. Okay, this is nice. An ascending triangle is sort of bullishly consolidating. Triangle, the trend is sideways. On this hourly chart, just back to where we were. So I and then this one down. So I usually turn all that stuff off. I don't care. I mean, I guess it's informative that all of that says don't trade, but I'm like, I turn most of this stuff off. For example, trending patterns, reversal patterns. That's more than right. And so, what is the trend here? Sideways. What is the trend here? Sideways, slightly up. So they both kind of say the same thing. Well, they're kind of the same charts, right? One's a 30-minute, one's a 60-minute. But none of this says go big on gold today. Now, maybe things change out of geopolitical risk. Oh, yeah, for sure. But the pattern doesn't exist now. These are patterns that are emerging. So it's not even though that they don't exist now, they're not developing right now. Maybe in an hour or two or three, they develop. Well, then this gets populated with the appropriate pattern on the appropriate time. So even though there's nothing here, you're watching all time frames for up, down, and sideways trending patterns and Fibonacci-related reversal patterns. Yeah, that's good. Oh my God, it's so good. And the S&P 500 shows a buy a dip scenario. Came out 8 minutes ago. While I was babbling, Babylon. Okay, while I was babbling, you had a buy a dip scenario. So this just came out. And it's confirming that it did bounce at the bottom of a channel. Cool. So it's saying the leg here is up. Okay. Cool. And then what I would do, if it works, because we don't know, it hasn't already formed because you'd only have this up here. It's showing you that it might be forming. So it gives you from the bottom of the channel. But the next plan for me is if this comes to fruition at some point, down, 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 and up again. Okay? All around the psychological level of 6,000. So make sure you take note of that as well. because this is a pattern and it's not looking at the cycle. It doesn't care. It doesn't have a psychology. Okay? It's simply a machine doing the tedious, busy work for you. You cannot watch 7,500 charts in real time. You just can't. Unless you use TRADARS. Simple enough. Either you can do it because you subscribe, or you can't do it and you're less competitive. That's it. Just want to check the coaching schedule. Well, it looks like some people are moving over to Jessica's New York Open. Cool. Check out these, right? Check this out. Like even just today, isn't it amazing? So, well, last night I did the swing trading group. That's here. So at 7:39, right? And then at 2:30, London Open. Then at 5:30, New York Bias. This is today, right? Then at 8:09, there was one. There's the one I'm doing now, and there's the one that I did here, which is the fundamental review. This one has a little bit different of a process to get to. And I suppose it's doing, oh, can't do it. Oh, most, you just go to this one, right? You just click number 6, and this is what I did this morning. Isn't that cool? So just since Sunday night, there's been 5 webinars for members of traders.com. That's pretty cool. 5. Yeah, 5. Cool. Well, let's get one more update on the news, and then I'll bid you adieu.
WH. Trump remains interested in diplomatic solution with Iran. Tankers U-turn, zigzag, pause around Strait of Hormuz.
UK private sector grows at fastest pace in 3 months. NEC Deer. Advisor Hassett. If Iran does retaliate, there is a heck of a lot of oil reserves.
Israel hits Iran's Evin prison, says strikes on Tehran are biggest yet. US dollar. Safe haven sentiment is pulling the strings. Rabobank. The US dollar is higher as the markets react to the US entering the Iran-Israeli conflict.
FTSE 100 records lower losses.
Gold pulls back as market digests US strikes on Iran. Strait of Hormuz risks linger.
Mexico retail sales year over year dipped from previous 4.3% to 2% in April. All right. So if you're a member of TRADARS, go ahead and log in and maybe chit-chat with other people on the market open inside of our headline news radar. For everybody else, just so you know, it costs money to be part of TRADARS, but if you trade through us, like a Bloomberg terminal, right? You trade through us, what happens is your subscription gets cheaper or is even free via a rebate, depending on your trading volume. So for some people, TRADARS is free because they trade their trade execution is through us. Isn't that nice? Now, let's say you're just starting to learn and you just have a small account. You're like, Wayne, I don't trade those types of volumes. I'm like, oh, that's cool. But at least you get a rebate on your spread. So every time you make a trade, Well, at the end of the day, it looks at all the trades you made and then gives you some of the money back. So it just benefits you right there. So, and you get all the chart templates and all that. So you're like, oh, wow. Yeah. It's all automatic. Yeah. So at the end of the day, you get some cash put into your account. Dude, like, what's not to love? So anyways, have a wonderful day. Peace on earth. May the pips be with you. May our profits be above average. Thank you for your time and your attention. I appreciate you.